Hello everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode of the RevOps versus AI podcast, the show where we cut through the hype and explore how artificial intelligence is transforming sales and marketing in today's B2B world. In each episode, we speak with guests who have hands on experience integrating AI tools and technologies into modern business. And together, we try to uncover. How AI can help your organization stay ahead of the trends while focusing only on the most relevant, effective, and efficient solutions that truly drive your revenue growth. And today, our guest is Justin Hall, CEO of AI UK. Hello, Justin, and thanks for joining our podcast.
Hi, thanks very much for having me. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yes, me too. Well, Justin is a leadership strategist and a CEO with more than 3 decades of experience working across the charity, corporate, and the AI sectors. He heads AI UK, where he helps organizations cut through the noise of emerging technology and implement practical human-centered AI that actually delivers results. And Justin also is the founder of Synergistics Coaching and the home of core identity model, the identity extraction test, and a suite of tools designed to help leaders become clear, credible, and future ready in an age shaped by rapid change. Justin brings a grounded traditional leadership perspective with a forward looking edge, helping people to cut through the complexity and rediscover who they are as leaders in that role. So, Justin, for starters, can you tell us a little bit more on how long you've been working in AI automation domain, and a little bit more about your company, AI UK?
Sure, great. Thanks for the opportunity. So, AI UK has been around for just under 3 years. Many people may say, well, that's not a very long time. It's been actually an amazing journey. We threw in a fishing rod and caught a few whales. So it was kind of a scary background, I have to admit, but what an amazing journey. But over those 3 years, we've seen a real interest and passion and desire for AI and AI integration. In essence, we would describe AI UK as a bespoke AI consultancy that, in essence, links people to technology.
Hmm.
We understand that AI as a technology has actually been around probably since the 1950s. But it's only really sort of come into center stage over the last 2 to 3 years with ChatGPT and the like. And
Yeah,
what we've found is that there's generally been two main responses of consultancies to the AI technology. The one, and obviously I'm going to be painting with a very broad brush here, so please do excuse me here. But the one model, if you want to call it that, is what we would call in-house the techie guys. So these would be consultancies that endeavor to bring a specific AI solution to market through R&D. The only limitation to that kind of model is obviously that you're limited in your value proposition to the dimensions or the focus of the product that you're endeavoring to produce. And one of the things that we've also found, and this is not always the case, once again, here's that massive broad brush, but very often the techie guys are brilliant in technology, but when it comes to sales and marketing, very often they struggle in that area. So we find that a lot of guys in that area tend to sort of stall at just when
right,
they're about to bring their product to market. So that's the one area that we've seen in response to AI. The second is the more consultative model. And within the consultative model, they would see AI through a slightly wider lens. So they would see AI within the context of maybe operations or HR. So for them, AI is a cog in the machine. It's not the whole world. Once again, the limitations or the some of the parameters of that kind of model. Once again, here's that broad brush again. We found that generally the purest consultatives are very, very good at telling you where the gaps are in your operations, what you need, and how you need to do it. But when it
right,
comes to actually giving you the tools to do what they're telling you to do, that's where very often their service offering is not very strong. So it's usually serviced or sent out to a third party, and there can sometimes be a breakdown in service. So what we've done is we've taken a step back and said, right, we understand the limitations of both of these models. What is the main pain point that SMEs specifically, because that is our main area of focus, what is the main pain point that SMEs are really struggling with when it comes to AI? And interesting enough, it's not the technology itself. AI is a phenomenal technology. It's an exploding technology. And it's not necessarily the business environment that many businesses are established upon. What it is the gap in between. In
Hmm.
other words, how do you bring an exploding technology into an environment that is rather established in its business processes in a way that will produce ROI and not burn money? And that's what we really
Yeah.
focus on, is that the gap in between, linking people to technology. And in order to facilitate that transition or that relationship, there are three value propositions that we offer. The first is that we are, in many regards, the techie guys. We're able to produce AI solutions from the ground up. And
Right.
obviously, closely linked to that is the whole area of data management, because we know that any effective AI flows out of the quality of the data from which it is learning and which it is growing. The second area that we focus on is AI coaching and consultancy work. And the philosophy behind that, and is basically, at the end of the day, you can't bring a really disruptive technology into an environment unless you understand the business culture. At the
Hmm.
end of the day, we're dealing with people, not machines. So whenever we sit down with an incumbent client, we ask them some fundamental questions. Who are you? Where are you going? What are you doing? What are your pain points? What are your dreams? Why do you feel you need AI? It's amazing. People get quite shocked when, as an AI consultancy, we turn around and sort of say, so tell me, why do you think you actually need AI? Very often people are just doing it because everyone else is doing it, but they haven't thought of the ramifications.
Yeah.
So it's sort of helping them to understand, and this may sound strange, helping them to understand who they are as a business and what they possibly want to become with AI integration, and then helping us to understand where their pain points really are. Sometimes we found that people come in with where they feel that they should start on the journey, and after a discussion with us, they turn around and they say, you know what, we're starting in the complete wrong place. We need
Hmm.
to start somewhere else. And that's why I think it's vitally important that we have that initial conversation. We are not AI salespeople. We're not trying to ram a square peg into a round hole. For us, it's all about the person. It's about the people. It's about the company. It's about helping them to achieve their desires, dreams, and goals. And so, being client centric really helps us to do that. An important phrase for us is, after we've understood a little bit more about who they are and where they're wanting to go, the phrase for us is, let's co develop an AI integration roadmap with you. So obviously we've got the technical ability, and then very strong coaching and consultancy work. And the reason why we use the word coaching is that coaching by definition is far more inductive, rather deductive rather than inductive. In other words, we don't lead the conversation. We allow you to bring your information, your world to us. And then with you, we co-create a solution. So that for us is very, very important. And it's important because when people bring their world to you, you don't have to try and convince them. They are bringing their
Yeah.
world to you. And you're able to then provide a solution that they need, not what you want to sell them. And then obviously the third area that we focus on is change management. And with the bringing in of any AI technology, failure for us would be to have a nice shiny icon on your desktop, but no one uses it. That for us would
Yeah.
be failure to the nth degree. So the question we ask ourselves is this: look, if you're going to spend money, if you're going to invest, let's make this work in a way that really moves your people forward, moves your processes and your operations forward. So we spend a lot of time in training, education, support, and then obviously the maintenance protocol is attached to that whole area. So those three value propositions: robust technical ability, AI coaching and consultancy work, and then change management, which for us would mean leadership, big upon training, education, and support. And that to a large degree has helped us really differentiate ourselves in the AI consultancy market. There are a lot of fantastic consultancies that are now rising up alongside us and around us that offer similar solutions. But we've managed to communicate the fact that we have a bit of gravitas in the area. We know what we're talking about. So that's in essence who we are: the friendly
Hmm.
face and the extended hand in front of technology, moving you on into your future.
Yeah. Very interesting. Well, thank you for giving us an intro on what you do, and we'll talk a little bit more about what you guys do at AI UK later in the podcast. But I wanted to kind of throw off this almost like a question a lot of people are asking today about AI on the market, and this whole hype around AI or investment in AI technology, is it all a bubble that at some point will burst? What do
Mm.
you think will happen to the AI domain in the next 3-5 years? And are those conversations about AI bubble? And by AI bubble, most people mean that there's a lot of uh, money flowing into AI industry, and it helps the stock market to grow. But if you really look at the structure of the money, a lot of money has just been exchanged in between various companies that invest in AI, and they basically almost like finance each other, sometimes triple of 5 times, inflating, the total value of the market. And then in 3 or 5 years time, all the infrastructure that is built, banking on a huge need or a huge adoption of AI in business, might be a bit redundant, and the AI and the bubble will maybe not burst but deflate for sure. So what do you think, and what are your predictions for the AI domain in next 3-5 years?
I think you've, yeah, I think you've described what a bubble is very, very well. It's basically where there is a huge amount of investment that in many ways overshadows the ROI that you're getting for that investment. So there are different camps of thinking around the AI bubble. Some people say that we definitely are in a bubble right now. Others are sort of saying that there's a bubble that's growing. For me, I see that there definitely are the characteristics of a bubble. There's massive investment, as you rightly say, massive investment, both in technology and in infrastructure. But interesting enough, we're not seeing a huge amount of ROI for that investment quite yet. And there are a number of reasons for that. I think one of the reasons is obviously there are a number of bottlenecks. For example, if you have a look at, we just don't have the ability to produce all the, to process all the data that is required. And so we're going to need to build that infrastructure. And there is massive building that's going on that side. But one of the things that I do think we need to understand is that there is a definite need for AI. Pandora's box has been opened. It's never going to be shut again. And as a result of that, there is an understanding of the need for AI, and that need is a growing need. So I think that what we're going to be seeing happen is there will be, if you want to put it in these terms, there's going to be a slow deflation of the bubble rather than the bursting of the bubble. And what I
Right.
mean by that is that I think that the infrastructure is going to grow, producing the technical and background to be able to meet the investment that is being given and meet the supply, or rather the demand that's given. So I think that those two are going to catch up a little bit. In
Hmm.
regards to what is going to be happening over the next few years, I think that there is going to be a number of factors that are going to be happening. I think that there's definitely going to be a correction in overvalued players. I think that some large investors are going to start pulling back, reevaluating, and refocusing their investment. I don't think there's going to be a complete withdrawal of investment, but a refocusing of investment, and perhaps recalibrating the amount of investment that's been put into certain areas. So I think that there's going to be a major shuffle in that area, and it's going to be
Mm.
more realistic in terms of the infrastructure that's now been built and the demand that's been created. I think the second thing that's going to happen is that there's going to be a very clear differentiation in the business structure on an international scale. And what I mean by that is that I think that we're going to be seeing a more and more clear distinction between businesses that have truly made a decision to integrate AI in a meaningful way into their operations, and are going to be seeing the benefits of that, and those that are merely using a chatbot. There's definitely going to be
Yeah.
a growing gap that is going to begin to occur between those two things. And it's sad that a lot of folk, well, and a lot of businesses are going to be left behind. But we can see that happening probably in the next 3 to 5 years. I also think that there's going to be a real tightening up on the legislation around the use of AI. Which is obviously going to have implications on how businesses interact with that technology, what they need to do, and obviously the investment that's going to occur as a result of that. So, bottom line is that there is a bubble, whether it be growing or it's there, but it's not going to explode. It's going to slowly deflate as return on investment catches up with that investment.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you. I would agree with you on that. It's obviously a wider topic, but I think as with any new technology, well, even though you've said that it's not new, it's just became more popular these days. There will be more realistic expectations set for the whole domain within next 3 or 5 years. Well, I wanted to switch back to our main topic since the podcast is called RevOps versus AI. We mainly I wanted to talk today about AI's role for SMEs, right, for small and medium businesses,
Mm.
and in particular in the revenue generation domain. So, can we start off by you telling us this block? I mean, telling us a bit more how a small or medium business can understand today whether they need to implement an AI in their processes, and in particular in the area of sales and marketing. So, what should they look at first? Where they should start, even to understand how to go around this topic.
Brilliant, brilliant question. One of the things that we've realized about the SME market specifically is that everyone knows that AI is out there, but we've realized that there are five questions that most SMEs are asking around AI. The first is, what on earth is AI? Secondly, what solution, if any, should I bring into my business at this time? Thirdly, how do I do it? Fourthly, who can I trust to help me? And then finally, is it going to break the bank? So, very, very pertinent question that you're asking here. How does an SME know that they need AI in their sales and marketing? I think the question is less, do we need AI, and more, where are we leaving money on the table so that we can maybe
Yeah.
automate processes and gather that in rather than just allowing that money to be wasted? There are several areas that I think that we can focus on, that an SME can focus on, specifically in the area of marketing and sales, to help identify the gaps where AI can help. I think the first one is, are your leads that you are engaging with, are they being regularly and consistently followed up with properly? Or is it sort of, well, we'll send one or two emails here and there, and hopefully, if we've got time, we'll be able to, sort of cover everyone. Is there a consistent and a methodical process to follow up on all leads, quotes, and inquiries? If not, then this is a major flag that maybe you need to make use of AI. The second area that is very, very helpful for us to identify how AI could help us is how we do our marketing. We found that a lot of SMEs, when it comes to marketing, it's either feast or famine. And what I mean by that is, depending on either the energy of the people involved or the time involved, they'll quickly write out a post or do a video, and then there's nothing for a little while. This is where AI can really, really help create a steady rhythm. And not only that, but repurpose existing content so that it's used across various platforms as well. So, firstly, let's have a look at your leads. Are they being properly followed up consistently? Is there a definite process that you have in place there, an automated process? Secondly, what is your marketing strategy? Is it feast or famine? And if it is, that's another flag waving, say maybe we need AI. I think another area that a lot of SMEs need to look at is having a look at their staff. If salespeople are spending more time on admin, in other words, notes and rewriting similar emails, rather than on conversations and
Yep.
engaging with clients, then that's a massive area for you to sort of say, we need AI. AI is brilliant at creating content, summarizing notes. This is something that could definitely be used very, very powerfully. So I think that those areas would be very, very helpful. Just to quickly recap, is obviously how we're following up on our leads. What is our marketing processes? Is it feast or famine? Is our team wasting time by writing out emails or summarizing notes? These are things that AI can definitely, definitely help with, and will create massive gaps between those who are not engaging with AI and those who are engaging with AI. One of the things that we've found, and we communicate with our clients, is that we are passionately committed to the advancement of technology so that you can go back to old school values of really being human and focusing on the business. And this is what AI does. It frees you up from the repetitive mundane and enables you to engage with people and the building of the business.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, in my work with companies, I often see that there's sometimes companies, especially companies that are quickly growing, they do have a lot of manual processes, and the tools that they use, sometimes they don't even use the tools, because there's also a lot of AI functionality baked in some of the tools, and
Correct.
companies have troubles with sometimes understanding how to use fewer number of tools just to simplify and to avoid the redundant manual work. But also, even the tools they are using, they sometimes don't use the functionality that is present in those tools. On that note, I wanted to ask if you can tell us a bit more about your AI readiness service that you offer at AI UK, and what does it mean? Because the other part of my question was, like, where does a company, a small and medium business, start? You know, in order to understand where to address,
Mm.
which problems to address with AI, not necessarily only in the marketing and sales domain. So, can you tell us a bit more about your AI readiness service?
Yes, sure, absolutely. Great question once again. So I think that this really sort of flows back to the three value propositions that we were discussing earlier. This focuses in the area of coaching and consultancy work and revolves around those five questions. What is AI? What solution, if any? How do I do it? Who do I trust? These are the questions that a lot of guys are focusing on. And to be quite honest, a lot of businesses have no clue really where to start. So
Mm,
for us, we developed the AI readiness tool to really help people to identify where they are on the AI integration roadmap in regards to readiness and preparedness. And there are a number of areas that we focus on. But one of the things that we've discovered is that a lot of folk, they don't know what they don't know. So, for example, we were approached by an organization that wanted to build an e-commerce platform, and they wanted to sort of expand their value propositions to be able to reach a much wider audience. And so, after we discussed really their product and what they were wanting to do and their market, who they were hoping to reach, then we sort of turned around and we sort of said to them, "Well, tell us a little bit about your marketing strategy." And they basically sort of said, "Well, we've got a Facebook page." And we said, "Congratulations, that's good news." And what else? And we've got a LinkedIn page, and that was really it. And they were wanting to then sort of build an e-commerce platform on that. And so we asked them a number of questions about their whole marketing strategy, who they
mm,
are, and what they want to do, and they couldn't really answer that. So for what we did is we took a step back with him and he said, "Listen, guys, you need to begin to define who you are as a business, and we would love to help you in that before you build an e-commerce platform." So once again, we're looking at those fundamental questions. Where do we start? So really, the AI readiness assessment helps decide if a business is really genuinely ready to use AI in a way that grows revenue without creating chaos or risk. So we start with a number of things. We start with strategy. In other words, who
mhm,
do you serve? What do you offer? And what commercial outcomes matter for you? It's very, very important that they understand who they are and where they're wanting to go. Then the second area that we focus on, and obviously I'm dealing with this in a very broad brush once again, we scan their systems and their data. We need to find out if their data is ready to build with AI. If not, then this is where we need to start by improving their data quality. So we look at things like tech stacks, CRM usage, data quality, website, and real world workflows for leads, quotes, and onboarding. So, in other words, having a look at their technical ability as an organization. And then also the third thing we look at is we look at people and change. In other words, are the people in your organization open to AI, or are they scared that AI is going to take their job? um,
yeah,
are they prepared to engage with us, and what do we need to do to help them to get on board? So we look at things like skills, capacity, ownership, and appetite in the team. So those three areas:
yeah.
strategy, tech stack, and then people, help a business really identify where they are and are able to move forward effectively. We found it to be a very, very powerful tool to orientate businesses.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's great. I completely agree that, and that's quite frankly one of the goals of this podcast is to remind SMEs out there that just to use new and shiny AI tools is not going to help you if you don't have the basics addressed, right? I also speak with many companies who say, "Oh,
Correct.
we just need to help you with our lead generation, or we need to help you your help with our marketing campaigns or sales team, so they can sell more." And then when I ask them the question why, they say, "Oh, we've just turned to one or the other agency for a couple of years now, and nothing really works." And I asked them a simple question. Okay, great. I can help you, but can you share with me? Do you have a marketing strategy in place? Like, who is your target market? Who's your
Yeah.
target audience? How big is your addressable
Yeah.
market? Who are your main, ideal sales personas, ISPs? And they say, well, we haven't really had time to put that down in a document. We don't really
Yeah.
know yet. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
I think I completely agree with you. Before you start using all these new shiny tools, you really need to address the foundation. Like, what is your strategy? Who's your target market? And then, do you have the basic systems in place, to communicate with them and to talk with them on their with their language? So
Mm, mm.
I completely agree with you here. The next question I wanted to ask, based on your experience, what are the main benefits? And you partially already answered that actually, but what are the main benefits of AI automation for marketing and sales functions in particularly? And what tools, again from your experience, are the most popular today for SMEs?
Great. Just to sort of say as a quick side note that this is the area where SMEs are really going to obtain tremendous value when it comes to AI and AI integration is the automation of their marketing and sales processes. So great topic that we're dealing with today. But I think obviously the first benefit of automating or bringing AI in would be better pipeline coverage. In other words, fewer leads will be ignored. There'll be more structure, and there'll be far more timely follow up. So it's really maximizing your efforts and making sure that no one or nothing falls through the gaps. I think that is going to be a huge benefit to a lot of organizations. The second is obviously more consistent marketing, as we made mention of earlier. Regular campaigns, repurposed content instead of sporadic bursts. Being involved in leadership and specifically in change management over the years, one of the things that I learned at an early stage is that people generally have very, very short term memories. And if we're trying to communicate who we are, we need to do this on a very consistent basis. Using obviously different techniques and different strategies, but consistently getting in front of people so that they begin to take note of you. And then after they've taken note of you, touch you 4 or 5 or 6 times, and then they'll engage. If you're not creating that regular input, then a sporadic message here or there or a video here and there is not really going to cut it. People need to see you consistently, because then they begin to touch those few times, and then finally you get buy through. So this is a massive area for SMEs. Consistent marketing will really, really help. And then obviously the third area is personalization at scale. And what we mean by that is that messaging, proposal fees tailored without needing a copywriter for every interaction. So this is where AI, and it's becoming better and better, is that it's able to, in a very personalized way, um, create interaction with clients, which then enables us to, because it's automated, to increase our interaction with clients or potential clients. And that is a massive, massive benefit to businesses, especially for the SME. If you really think about it, AI is built for the SME because it enables us to scale without increasing our scaling costs. So personalization at scale is a massive one. I think another area, and this may sound a bit strange, is obviously time back for humans to sell. Like we said earlier, is that we are powerfully committed to the advancement of technology so that people can get back to doing business the old fashioned way, interacting with people, building those relationships. And if you're surrounded by mundane, repetitive tasks, it's going to be difficult
Yeah.
to do that. So freeing you from that so you can get back to selling. And then obviously, another area would be faster testing of messaging and efforts, and offers. I think that that's very, very good. Sometimes you put an idea out there and it just doesn't fly. But with AI, you're able to both develop the product or the pitch or the hook, and you can quickly see whether or not it works. And if it doesn't, move on quickly. So this enables you to define your niche and develop the hook that'll reach into your niche far more quickly and effectively. And then obviously, I think for me, the final one would be uh, um, making, what vehicles would be best to make use of. I think obviously it depends a lot on the business, but I think generally speaking, I think that making use of AI inside of your existing tools that you're using is probably a good place to start. Like you made mention
Hmm.
of earlier, a lot of people have amazing tools that they're using, legacy programs that have built-in AI, but a lot of people don't use it because they don't understand it. So I think the first port of call is take a look and see what you're actually working with. And if any of your technology has AI embedded in it, begin to make use of that AI so that you can leverage the systems that you've already invested in and that your team is familiar with. I think that's vitally important. Beyond that, there are some phenomenal external tools, things like Clay, workflow tools like N8 and N, or Claude. ChatGPT is also very, very good for development of content. So my first port of call: start with what you've got, leverage the AI in those systems, and then beyond that, do research specifically in the area. And like I said, Clay, ChatGPT, Claude, and the like are very, very good.
Yeah. Do you have any tools in mind that, from your experience, are the most popular in today's sales and marketing domain? Like maybe some tools that are used for lead generation, or tools that are used for marketing campaigns automation, or even sales processes automation. I know that it's a rather narrow maybe niche, but maybe you had some projects where you worked with companies that are either already using those tools and they need some optimization around it, or they've never used those tools before. Like an example that I want to give is that we are working right now with a company that is providing lead generation services. They are sort of an internal lead generation unit for their company, but they also provide those services for other companies. And there's another company that we are trying to couple them with, who uses Na8 and Clay to automate the process of data acquisition, data enrichment, and then lead generation campaigns management, automated through AI. So and they also, this other company helps you automate through these AI in external AI instruments. They help you automate your email campaigns. So a very elaborate number and set of tools that they are using. But it actually, when you work on it long enough, it works really well, and
Mm,
helps you eliminate, as you mentioned before, quite a lot of manual work
yep. Yep.
for that your team is currently doing. You've probably heard this a rising term, a GTM engineer, which is go-to-market engineer, which basically means a person who knows how to work with AI tools, and if that person given enough time to build the right system, one person can just manage the processes that maybe 5 or 6 people are managing right now in your team. So
Indeed. Indeed.
sorry, I probably went a little too deep on this, but coming back to my original question, what are the specific tools that maybe you see used or are the most popular for SMEs in AI automation in sales and marketing domain?
Mm. Obviously, you touched on a very, very important point, and that is that people don't want millions of tools. They're wanting one platform that's going to do a lot of work for them. And interesting enough, we work with a lot of businesses there where their main sales funnel is on LinkedIn. And
Hmm.
we personally, in our interaction, we've come across an amazing company called Leadeth. which is literally, like we were talking about, a platform that would automate processes, that would source potential leads, that would follow up, from an automation perspective as well. Everything is done for you, and it's all on one platform.
Mm.
So it's very, very transparent as well. You're able to change the interaction processes. So that has been something that has been very, very helpful for a lot of our clients. One dashboard that is able to both find leads, contact them, follow up on them, nurture them, bring them into your CRM. In fact, Leadit in and of itself has a connected CRM, so it's able to, even within that context, create an database for you. So that has been probably one of the most powerful tools that we've seen our team work with. The main area is obviously automation. That's where people are really wanting to see massive changes. Zapier is obviously another area. Very, very simple. Any tool really that automates processes and links one process to another. That would
Yeah.
be the area that, and I wouldn't want to be seen to be pushing one specific tool. I'm sure afterwards we can get hold of some guys if they really want some advice. But anything that you think is robust enough to automate your processes and gives transparency in regards to that process, where you can change it, I think would be very, very good. Leadit would be one that we found has been very, 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 very helpful for a lot of our clients.
What is it called again? Leadeth?
Leadeth,
Leadeth.
Leadeth.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe we can. I can get their website from you, and we can put it in the comments for the video.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you. There are so many out there, and as I always tell the companies I talk with, that you have to start somewhere. Many
yeah,
companies are hesitant to go into the space because they say, well, we don't know whether it's going to work. But
yeah,
coming back to our very initial question about AI bubble, I think uh, the thing about AI, and this is a train that's already moving, and you need to
yeah,
jump on it no matter where it's going to arrive, like in 3 to 5 or 10 years, because it's very clear, I think, that AI can bring a lot of value to companies, and each company just needs to find out in which way. And I also don't think, because on the other hand, I see companies saying, well, we're not sure if we want to jump on this train yet. We want to wait. Maybe in 3 or 5 years, there's going to be some magic tool where you just pay $20 a month, and it will solve all your problems in the company. And I always tell them that it's highly unlikely, because it's all about how the particular technology can help your company for your particular context. And in most cases, you would have to brew, sort of speak, your own formula, or in your own set of tools, which would work specifically for your business model, specifically for your challenges. And especially in B2B, I tend to see
mm,
that in B2C, the solutions are more cookie cut,
yeah, yeah,
and in B2B or B2B2C, even more a complicated matter, it's harder to adopt those cookie cut solutions for your particular model of business. So, yeah, and my hope is that this is where consultancies like yours and mine can help, because very often founders and CEOs, they have, very valuable time at their hand, and their time is limited, and sometimes it's better to uh, trust work like this to the experts who can really help you with figuring out what to do with this. Well,
fully agree. Yeah, fully agree.
coming
You know,
coming yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just sort of saying, I think that you're absolutely right. I think that one of the major dangers that businesses fail is where businesses could fail in is to sort of say, we'll wait for the dust to settle and then we'll make
Yeah,
a choice. There's going to be no settling of any dust here. AI is just moving far too quickly. There's going to be an ongoing dust storm. But
yeah,
I do think that the second area that we can fall into is out of fear of missing out, just quickly jump on board and do something.
yeah,
I think that that's the worst thing we can do. So I would fully agree with you. Let's find someone that we can build a trust relationship with, who will engage us on a journey. This is not just buying a tool. It's engaging on a journey, because AI is transformative, not only in how we work, but how we will look as well. So it has several ramifications, and we need to have a look at that with someone who'll be able to lead us one step at a time.
Yeah, yeah, great. Coming closer to the end of our conversation, one other question I wanted to discuss is, what are the main challenges you currently see in using AI? Again, we probably partially touched upon it, but what are the main challenges you see out there and in using AI tools, either baked in or standalone solutions, and potentially specifically in the field of B2B sales and marketing?
Mm, mm. Okay. I think obviously the main area for us would be poor or messy data in CRMs.
Yeah.
I think that businesses are going to have to generally pay a lot more attention to how they record their information and how they develop their data sets. We've been amazed sometimes at how people or how businesses record and store their information. It sometimes is quite horrifying. So bottom line is
Yeah.
that for us, a challenge is, how do we help you to improve your data maintenance and your data protocols? That would be a major area. I think obviously another area that we're noticing specifically about B2B sales and marketing is that people are engaging with AI, but they're not doing it at a very deep level. They're just bringing it on board and allowing it to do what it needs to do, which means that there sometimes is a rather generic or bland content when you're using AI. It's almost like it's on autopilot. Um, the brand voice has not been clearly defined, and I think that this is a danger that SMEs need to be aware of. That what brings about the successful use of AI is people. We cannot leave AI on automatic or on
Mm,
automation. The process is most definitely, but we need to be guiding, training, directing, and focusing the potential of AI so that it produces maximum output. To simply just engage a tool and leave it is going to produce generic, bland content and not really communicate who you are as a company. So
mhm.
that's one area I would really encourage businesses, and that definitely is a challenge. I think a third area, obviously, is speaking about AI as it grows, and obviously reliability and accuracy problems. Obviously, including hallucinations, which can definitely damage credibility in B2B context. It's very, very important that we keep our hands on AI. This is something that we are very, very strongly pushing with whoever we work with, is that we cannot just take a step back. This is not the machine doing the work. This is a collaboration between humans and machines. And the
Mhm.
more we see this partnership and this collaboration, the more effective AI will become. If we just let AI run, we could run into a situation where there is hallucinations or inaccuracy, and that could get us into major, major problems. So my word is
Mhm.
this: partner with AI. Don't let it run off and do its own thing. Then obviously something that would probably be on the minds of a lot of people would be the area of privacy and compliance concerns, where contact
Yep.
data and documents, we need to make sure that they are stored and how they are used. We really believe that AI needs to be as transparent as possible. And there is a definite legislation that is going on in the EU, and we're expecting the UK to be coming on board probably in the next few months, in the near future, where there is going to be far more stringent laws around data compliance, communication, training. So
Mm,
we need to make sure that we are on board with this already. And then obviously the final area when it comes to challenges is bringing your people on board. Adoption
yeah.
challenges in the team. One of the things that we focus on very, very strongly right in the beginning is dealing with the elephant in the room. Is AI going to take your job? And I think we have to be realistic that AI is a disruptive force, and it's going to significantly disrupt a lot of sectors and a lot of jobs. And we need to deal with that, front and center, and bring people on board through communication, education, and support, so that they don't feel threatened. You cannot really engage with technology if you have people pushing back against you. So we need to have that open and honest communication.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, thank you very much. I think you outlined it really well as far as the current challenges and things that people need to pay attention to. Well, and finally, what would be your advice, to top managers and owners of small and medium businesses out there who are just beginning to think about using AI tools in their organization, and if we speak closer to the topic of our podcast, in the area of sales and marketing, in particular, where do they start? Like, where do they go first, just to start this journey?
Sure. This is going to sound really counterintuitive what I'm saying, but take your time. And what I mean by that is don't sort of sit back and say, well, we'll wait for the dust to settle. What I mean is take your time to find an organization, a business that are professionals in their area, such as yourself, such as AI UK, that know the industry, that know the technology, and are able to come alongside and partner with them over the long term. This is not a quick sale where you've got AI on board and you can move on. This will be a transformative process. And so I think the first thing is find out who is out there, who you can trust, who you can build relationship with, so that you can have an effective roadmap of AI integration over the long term and that transformation process. The second thing beyond that is start with strategy. As we've said repeatedly through through our conversation, it's important that we understand that AI is a tool. It's only going to be able to be as effective as we are effective. And it's only going to be able to help us as clearly as we know who we are. So start with strategy, know who you serve, know what
Hmm.
problem you solve, and why customers choose you. Clarify that within your own mind. Then you can get the right tools, the right people, the right processes on board. That must complement your identity. I think the second thing is pick one or two specific workflows that are directly linked to revenue. Don't think of bringing AI to the table. As we say to them, we work in a modular fashion. Let's find one area of challenge or one area that you'd really like to focus on. Let's develop a solution for that, produce ROI in that area, and then grow from that area. So that would be my advice. Pick one or two specific workflows directly linked to revenue,
Hmm.
maybe follow ups or reactive dormant contacts, and develop a solution for that and then grow it. I think the third thing that I'd like to suggest is use the AI features in the tools that you have already paid for. We've made mention of this before. Simply because your team is familiar with those platforms. Rather than bringing in a new platform, work with what you've got and leverage its capabilities. You'll get a lot more return for your investment. I think also design a clear human in the loop. As we mentioned repeatedly, make sure that people are involved. That's very, very important. Find the champions in your team. And to be quite honest,
Hmm.
top leaders need to be trained in AI. So make sure that you're involved right from the very, very
Yeah.
start. And then obviously you cannot manage what you do not measure. So make sure that you are able to measure before and after using simple metrics, things like response time or touches per lead, so that you're able to see the benefits of that which you are interacting with from a technological perspective. I think that is going to be very, very powerful as well. And then perhaps finally on my side would be focus on building your team's capability with small, well understood toolkit rather than chasing every new product that's out there. Slowly educate your team, take your team with you. Then you'll be able to definitely build a robust business that is able to interact with technology. The more your team interacts with technology, the more used to that they're going to get, and the more open they're going to be to future opportunities and greater potential.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Justin, for all these insights. Yeah, it's definitely a topic that is probably a bit wider to explore than we were able to touch on our podcast today. But yeah, I think it's a really good start. The all the advices that you've given to our audience. So thank you again for participating in our podcast, I also wanted to say thank you to everyone for listening to this episode of RevOps versus AI podcast. If you found today's insights valuable, make sure to subscribe and share this episode with someone who can benefit from it. And join us next time as we continue exploring practical ways how AI can help your business to stay ahead of the trends and of the competition. Until then, stay curious and keep innovating. Bye, everyone.